Coming to you live from the Putasos Podcast.
Oh! He slapped him! Like that!
All right, guys, welcome back. Putasos Podcast, episode number 13. Special guest, Alex Perez. Thanks for coming on, brother. We appreciate you.
Shit, no, thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, he even brought us to his house, so appreciate the hospitality. I know you from our mutual friend, Little Ant.
Yeah.
You wrestled with him in college, yeah?
Yeah, I wrestled him at West Hills, I think 2013.
Yeah, it was 2013.
2013, so.
Cool, and tell us about your experience at Lemoore. I know you wrestled with Coach Olson.
Yeah.
You wrestled with Little Ant.
It was cool, man. I wrestled for Coach Olson, the man, the myth, the legend.
The legend.
I wrestled for him since I was like in 8th grade, and then
Oh, shit, I didn't know that.
yeah, wrestled like 7th, 8th grade, wrestled over there, and then just kind of went through high school, wrestled through him, and then junior college, just kind of wrestled out there. He kind of got me back into the room. I was kind of done with wrestling after I didn't place at the state tournament, so I was kind of like, I'm over this.
Yeah.
And then he got me in there, so grateful for him though. He's definitely one of a kind.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
So you obviously you wrestled in high school. You didn't place in state your senior year?
No, I didn't place top 12.
Did you place at all?
No. I was the only one in my family that didn't place.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so.
Did any of your siblings still compete or anything?
No, they wrestled a little bit. They wrestled in high school, and then obviously my older brother got a scholarship to San Francisco State.
Oh, dope.
He was a D2 national qualifier, and my little brother wrestled in junior college at West Hills. He placed the first year. He should have won it. And the second year, he ended up taking like 3rd.
Yeah.
And then my sister placed, and then she ended up going to college too. So
what college did she go to?
Some school in Oregon.
Okay.
I'm not sure the school, and then and there was me, the only one that didn't place in high school.
At least you're a UFC fighter.
I don't know, man.
You got some ups on them?
Kind of, but even when we go to Lemoore Wrestling Room, they have a board with like state placers, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So like I'm the only one missing from that board. So one of those bittersweet, but I'm glad it did. I'm glad it worked out the way it did. I think that's what keeps me driving,
Yeah. How does matchups go with Little Ant?
I used to whip that ass. You'll be lucky if you got a takedown.
He told me all you got was a fireman's carry.
That's what I needed for him. I didn't need anything else, No, he was actually tough. Like I was telling you guys earlier,
He's a tough dude.
Like the first month he was whooping my ass, and then I first time coming back for like a 2-3 year layoff from wrestling. So he was whooping my ass, and I just got better.
Got back in shape.
Yeah, I got back in shape, wrestling shape, and stay consistent,
Yeah.
And all I needed was a fireman's on him, Like he couldn't stop it.
Dude, it's funny because I remember it was probably like 2014 or 15. We competed here in Vegas.
Yeah.
And he would always talk about you because you're transitioning to MMA, and he would always just be like, "Bro, I can't fucking take that guy down, bro." He's all get deep in on a shot, and he's like, he just can't finish the shot.
Yeah.
But he would always talk about you.
Yeah, man, he's a good dude, man. Solid person. Just good person to be around. He's good human being, and it was fun competing against him. He's definitely made me like step up my game at the beginning because oh man, I can't let these fucking little kids fuck me up, And he's a cool dude.
Yeah. How was the transition from wrestling to MMA? So you went to college for a year. Mm-hmm. You wrestled.
Yeah, so as soon as I was done in high school with wrestling, I think the state tournament had ended. Like the next week, first time I ever threw punch was like the following week.
Oh shoot!
Started hitting pads pads the week after, and I kind of started training MMA. And then I was like, all right, I'm gonna wrestle 1 year in college. I made a bet with my manager now, Jeremy Lucha. I made a deal. Like I was like, hey, he's like, I'll help manage you, but you got to go to college. All right, cool. So I went to college and. I went to college just to basically wrestle, honestly, because I knew I was going to fight. I didn't know if it was going to work out or not, but I did that. And
I going to school.
Yes, and then I went to school, and he was helping me out. So it was kind of easy transition just because where I'm from in Lemoore, we have a lot of fighting history. And with WEC being there and then PFC, then Taji Palace fights, it was kind of easy to make the transition. So I did that and then came back in 2013. That's when I wrestled with Ant.
Yeah.
And then did all that. So... it was fun. It was easy.
Yeah, Lamore's pretty big for like combat sports on like MMA or like that area.
Yeah, so Tachi Palace used to have WEC. I don't know if you guys watch on UFC Fight Pass. You can go back and watch like Glover Teixeira and those guys. There, it's like a weird triangle cage. That was actually in Lemoore. That was at Tachi Palace. So it was WEC was there. Then Zuffa bought WEC out, and then they made PFC.
Yeah.
Then they changed it to Tachi Palace Fighting. And then now they have A1 Combat. So it's always been a real big community on fighting.
Yeah, that's cool, bro. And then as far as wrestling goes, I mean, I'm obviously biased because I used to wrestle. I think it's the hardest sport in the world.
Oh, yeah.
How do you feel about like, as far as like foundations go for going into MMA? How do you feel about wrestling being like the strongest foundation?
It is. It teaches you how to grind and stuff. Just wrestling practices are 100 times harder than MMA practices. I go here to my buddy Chase. He owns a wrestling club called Gold Rush Wrestling. And I go out there a lot. And those high school kids push me. I'm like, God damn, it's just straight wrestling for an hour and a half, 2 hours, just pushing. You know what I mean? Hardest practices I've been through sometimes in the week, you know. It doesn't get any better and any different than that. So I enjoy wrestling. So I try going there at least once a week.
What makes a wrestling practice harder than an MMA practice?
I mean, just consistent, you're body to body, you're like, you don't get a break. If your partner's tired, then you're usually beating up on him. If you're tired, they're beating up on you. Where in MMA, you can kind of find your breaks. Jiu-jitsu is more methodical.
It is more methodical.
Striking, you have to be more methodical because someone's hitting you back. Wrestling, you can just outwill the person, you know. Yeah, you can grind someone out. And you always have to make contact with people.
Yeah.
That's the hardest thing, and I think in MMA is like when people don't like to wrestle and be in like clinch positions because it's hard.
And that was going to kind of lead me to my next thing because you're a wrestler by base, but when you watch all your fights, you're down to stand on the feet and throw them.
Yeah, I mean, you get comfortable fighting. You know what I mean? It's part of it.
I never see you like revert straight to wrestling. You're always starting like you're always starting either.
For me, it's like I like kickboxing a lot. Like I became a really big fan. One of my favorite fighters of all time, Jose Aldo. So I like his style and.
Some of the only guys to get it finished by leg kick.
Yeah, you know, so I like that. I like that style, but I mean, I know I have wrestling in the back pocket.
Yeah.
You know? So I mean, kind of pick and choose what you want to do.
Going into MMA, obviously, no one's journey is perfect. No matter what you do, whether it's going into this, going into a job, whatever it is. Did you ever like struggle with any like what ifs or this isn't for me or you kind of just push through?
No, all the time. Man, I remember times where, I mean, I remember one time I got paid $300 to fight. You know, like people were complaining about getting paid a couple thousand. I was like, man, I got paid $300. For me, the win was more important than the money. But yeah, you know, my son's mom, Christina, she helped me push through it because I was like, oh man, I'm done. I want to quit. Yeah. So now I keep going, and I had a good support system. You know, friends and family. They're like, no, you got this, kind of thing. Obviously. You just kind of just gamble, man. You're not guaranteed to make it to UFC. You're not guaranteed to make it big in MMA or in any sport in general. So I just kind of gambled everything on it. You know what I mean? I tell people when I go talk to kids, I tell them, you guys need to go to school, man. School's important. But like I said, I didn't go to school, and this is my plan A. My plan B was go back to Leprinos and work, you know? So, I mean, it's not a bad plan B to make good money, a great career. But shit, if I can go back through time, I would definitely have finished school.
Really?
Yeah, it's
That's
super
something
important.
You don't hear too often.
It's super important. I mean, I'm lucky. I got good people around me. My manager, Jason House, he's taught me really good about business. So he definitely gives me a lot of like insight on stuff, and very good manager with my money and stuff like that. So he, I got my business going now and stuff like that. But I was still finish school. It's important, I think. Some guys are like, oh, it's not that important. Yeah. I mean, I feel like you always have a degree. You can always fall back on something. Yeah, fall back on it.
Yeah. Tell us about your business, bro.
So I opened a year ago. I'll say Republic out in Orange County. It's the border of city of Orange and Anaheim. Like I'm like 5-10 minutes from Anaheim Stadium at the Honda Center. Yeah. So I'm right down the street. Opened it. It's a good business. I like it. Easy to run. The franchise is amazing. They give you all the support and stuff too. So pumped about it. You gotta have different.
So it's a franchise.
Yeah, franchise.
Okay, cool.
So you gotta have different ways to make money. Especially in this sport because you only fight 1 to 3 times a year, depending on injuries and stuff. So gotta find different ways to make money.
What made you want to do SAE? Was it just something that you thought of, something that you liked?
I saw something I liked. So I actually tried their product before, and I was like, man, yeah, you know. And one of my friends was really like involved with them, and I got to talk to them about it, and I enjoyed it.
What's the what's like your, I guess you could say, end goal? Because you're obviously in the UFC. Most people in the UFC are trying to get the strap.
Yeah.
Some people are just trying to make money. Like I know a ton of fighters don't even care about the belt; they just want to make money.
Yeah.
What's the end goal for you?
I mean, a little bit of both. Obviously, I had a title shot, but I want to get back. Yeah, there's one more run. 31, I'll be 32 in March, so I got one more run in me. Hopefully go through that, get the strap. But biggest thing I want the UFC to do is pay off my house. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like all the money is great and everything. People all they do is fight about money, but if you're not winning fights and stuff, it's not really you're not really like making as much money. So biggest thing I want from the UFC is to be able to make money, like pay off my house. You know what I mean? Like this, if I can get this paid off with the UFC money, then that's great. That's a win. You know what I mean? I'm winning. Like whether I get the strap or not. Yeah. I'm winning, man. Like, buying a house is expensive and it's hard nowadays. So
yeah, man.
The sooner I do it, the better.
You got your business on the side too, so you can always fall back on that, build, expand.
Yeah. I'm hoping within the next couple of years open up another one. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
You want to open another one in LA, or are you gonna open one up here?
I thought about it. I mean, Vegas would be a good spot.
Yeah.
We'll just see where it happens. I tell people, I'll say it's a seasonal. It's like seasonal work because once it gets cold, man, who wants acai? Who wants ice cream? You know.
True.
So that's the hardest part right now. We're a little slow, but part of the business. We're not like hurting or anything like that. It's just slower than normal. Yeah. But I mean, slower than usual than our summer days. But we just got in Orange County never gets cold, so
true.
It gets 70 degrees out there. It's cold.
What was it like for you fighting for the belt? Because I follow UFC pretty strictly, like we both do. So when you got the title shot, it was like a big deal. We're like, oh shit, you got a title shot, you know? What's going on? So how did that like come together? And did you know you were next? Your fight before that?
No. So what happened was I was supposed to fight Brandon Moreno actually, and Cody Garbrandt was supposed to fight Davison. And then and then Davison, Cody ended up getting COVID, and they called me. It's like 2 a.m. and I'm sleeping. My son's mom was right next to me, right? And I'm getting a call from a manager. Like, dude, I'm ignoring this. Like he's part, but he's in Abu Dhabi. Then he calls me again. So this is important. So I'm like, I go to the bathroom, you know. And I'm like, what's up? He's like, you ready? I'm like, yeah, I'm getting, I got 8 weeks. I'm like, yeah, how's your weight? I'm like, it's good. He's like, oh, you're fine for the title. I'm like, what? He's like, you're fine for the title. I was like, oh shit. And I'm like, all right, man. We talked or whatever. And Ricky Simone was staying with me, one of my good friends. He was staying with me. He was staying with me, and he's like, you good? I was like, yeah, I'm fine for the title. He's like, what? I was like, yeah, man. It's like 2 a.m. So then I go back to the room. He's like, Christina was like, you good? Like, Jason good? Like, yeah, that's not a big deal. Like, she's like, what do you want? If you can call like 3 or 4 times, like, oh yeah, I'm fine for the title next. Cody's out. I'm in. And she's like, what? It's like we're like sitting at like 2 a.m. My eyes wide open. It's like, do I go run right now or do I just So yeah, it was exciting to get the news, all the hard work. The fight, the camp was good. I had no injuries. They're good. Like this game just split seconds. I just jumped a little half a second too early, ran to the guard instead of jumping over, and cost me. But probably one of the best camps I've had. Body felt good. Mentally, physically, I was in shape. I was ready. Like we trained that guillotine defense 8-9 weeks. Just got caught, and then it happens. It's a game of inches. It
is, man. How did it feel fighting Figueiredo? Because for us, like when we watched the fight, we're like, damn, that guy's like a world destroyer at 25. He touches you and he hurts you. How did he feel, like strength-wise, speed-wise?
I felt like I was stronger than him. Fast, he was faster than me. But power-wise, I didn't feel like nothing that I haven't felt. I didn't feel like anything special. Yeah. I'm also a lot bigger than him. I usually to that point he's at that point he's fighting guys that are shorter, smaller than him. I was taller than him, and we probably weighed about the same. So I don't think he's used to that. Strength-wise, I feel I'm strong for the weight class. So. It didn't feel too bad, you know what I mean? Like I said, just gave him inches, took him down easy. I think I was more surprised. I think I was more surprised that I took him down that easy because I've seen people try to take him down. They had a hard time. I took him down super easy. I was like, what the hell? Yeah. It kind of surprised me, but
Well, you have a super big fight coming up. I know we were kind of eating lunch earlier, and you're like, well, every fight feels like this for me. But you have a big fight coming up, bro. Like, I don't know, for UFC fans, this is major. This guy's like, I guess you could say your boogeyman of the division. He's coming up. He's under. Yeah, I like it. I like it.
I don't know how. Like he's a talent. You know what I mean? He's undefeated. I mean, he deserves all the hype he's getting. He's world beater beating these guys, but I mean,
he hasn't fought a wrestler yet. Though.
I mean, even the wrestler. I just in general, like the guys he's fought aren't like crazy. Like they're not in the ranks, right, or whatever. And then more power to him. A lot of guys don't want to fight him. I mean. They've never offered me him, or I've told my manager from one time, like, I'll fight him. I was like, you're going to have to fight everybody eventually. So, I mean, he's good, man. He deserves all the hype he's getting. I think it's a tough fight. I think stylistically it's going to be an interesting one, right? Like two wrestlers.
Yeah.
Maybe two grapplers. So we'll see what happens. But I'm pretty confident. I mean, but I'm also pretty confident in every fight I've taken. So,
absolutely,
so we'll see what happens, man. I'm excited for the challenge. He's a young kid,
Yeah. How old is he? He's like 22, huh?
22, 23, something like that.
23, yeah.
He's young. I mean, has a lot of experience, a lot of amateur fights. He's 11-0 as a pro. I mean, good team behind him, obviously. So, yeah, I'm excited to see what happens in that fight.
Yeah, that was going to be the next thing I brought up because he hasn't really. I think he fought Tim Elliott, who's ranked number 10. Outside of that, he hasn't fought anybody ranked. So,
I mean, that's a little bit on him.
It's not really on him, though.
Yeah, it's not really on him.
No one wants to fight him.
People don't want to fight. You know what I mean? No, the biggest problem with the UFC ranking system is that no one wants to fight behind them, right? Like, I'm number 10, but I'll go to fight the 12 or 15 guy where I want to be moving up, right? So, like, it's all that stuff. For me, I can care less. Like, I'm like, hey, like, whatever. I get paid to fight. I don't get paid to sit down. So, like, it is what it is. Like, we'll fight and see what happens. Go from there. You keep just winning fights, and the title will come. The money will come. Just biggest thing is just getting it done.
Well, kind of going back to that, no one wants to fight him. So, like, naturally, he's getting, like, big jumps in competition because you don't want to fight. They just kind of move forward. So they give him you. You're 7, right?
Yeah.
He's 8. What do you expect after this fight? Once this fight's over, you win. What's next? Like, what do you expect next? Do you even care what's next, or are you just kind of fighting and see what comes?
Not really. Like, what's gonna happen is, like, I win this fight. Now, obviously, I want to move up, but who wants to take the fight? Like, it just all depends on the other side. Who's healthy, who's not, who's fight. Things like that. It all just depends on what's going on.
The top of the division, most of the people have already either fought for the title or have been in a title. Like Brandon Moreno already. I mean, he fought Figueiredo 4 times. He was at the top for a bit. Kai France lost the interim title to Brandon Moreno. Figueiredo's out of the question. You have Pantoja fighting Royval.
Yeah, but you got a lot. I mean, but you also got like Amir. You got Amir hasn't fought all those guys, and you got Manel haven't fought those guys. You got Kai's fought Brandon, but he hasn't fought Pantoja. So many different. You can mix and match everything.
Do you feel like you can get a title shot after this one?
I don't know. We'll see. I'm not too worried about it. If it happens, it happens. If not, gotta win a couple more, get a win streak going. But we'll see what happens.
And then you bought this house out here. You got a house in LA too. The reason I bring that up is because you have a son.
Yeah.
I just had my first son a couple months ago, so I kind of know the feeling. Definitely changes you as a person. But how has having a kid affected you in your career?
Man, it was kind of hard actually at first.
I bet, yeah.
Because you had to go from being like a savage in the gym to like trying to punch people in the face and fucking going out and taking care of a kid, changing diapers, hugging a kid, So it definitely was the first like month or two was kind of like, oh shit, like, you know what I mean? But it's fun, man. I enjoy it. Like when he's here, when I have him with me, he's with me. Like I wake up, I'm up early, so I get up before I make my breakfast. He comes down, like he tells me when he's ready. He opens the door. He's like, Dad. So I go up there. We walk down together. I'm making him breakfast, get him ready for daycare. Taking him to daycare, go train, have to pick him up at a certain time, get home, feed him, and then we're like playing, trying to do stuff. So it's definitely interesting. When I don't have him, I'm like, I'm like, oh man, I'm freaking tired, When I do have him, I'm like tired or whatever. But when I don't have him, I'm like, dude, what am I doing? Like I got nothing to do. Like after I'm done with training. So we kind of hindsight's 20/20. I mean, but I'm excited to go back to Team Oyama and get the training camp going. I'll be a lot closer to him, so I can see him a lot more often. So That's what I'm really pumped for.
I know you started your diet. We kind of already talked about that. When does your camp actually start? Like, do you have an official start date? Do you just kind of hop into training and?
Nah, I mean, camp just. I mean, my training stays the same year round. Besides my running.
That's good.
So it's not really crazy. I have to add just things. So I train Monday through Thursday, Fridays off. Saturday I train. Sunday I'm off. So my schedule stays the same pretty much the whole time. Only thing that changes is maybe running. I have to run a little bit more, to get the weight down and stuff, and just the diet. But my training stays pretty consistent.
Yeah, I asked you this earlier, but for the camera, what do you walk around at?
160, 165, just depending on where we're at.
That's a good little cut, my boy. That's a good little 35, 40-pound cut.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, it's easy once you get the diet down. I got a nutritionist, so she kills it with all that. Keeps me strict on my food for sure. You don't need to give away your game plan or anything, but when you go into a fight camp, do you game plan for an opponent, or do you just kind of train and go at it? I've seen different approaches. A little bit of both, depending on what he has. Obviously he's a good wrestler, so I'm gonna be wrestling a lot. You know what I mean? But I still get ready in every aspect. I can't be I'm just gonna wrestle this whole camp. Stop his wrestling. No, if he takes me down, I gotta be comfortable. If you don't take me down, I gotta be comfortable. So I kind of work everything. I just kind of highlight what he's good at and work and see what he does and try to work from there. I mean, it's not really too I feel like I'm good enough everywhere where it's not too consumer. Hey, you cannot let this guy take you down, or hey, you have to take this guy down. I'm pretty decent everywhere that I can mix it up.
Do you see any again, you don't have to say anything if you want it, but do you see any major holes in his game that you can take advantage of?
No, he's actually pretty good everywhere, man. You see he's striking, he's a good striker, he has good wrestling, good jiu-jitsu. He's a well-rounded guy. He's kind of the new breed of guys coming up to the sport that were born into the MMA world, where I started wrestling. You don't see that. You don't see that too much more. Where it's now kids are starting to do MMA instead of they're doing jiu-jitsu, doing wrestling, they're doing MMA, they're doing everything, Yeah. So he's one of those new breeds, so I'm excited.
How did you even get the call to be on the Contender series? So what were you doing before that? What were you fighting before that?
I was fighting at Putasos. I was getting ready to fight this guy named Chad George at 135s. And then they called me 3 weeks before. 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks before. I'm you want to fight? I don't know if I can make the weight. All right, you're taking the fight. Fuck it, we're going to roll the dice. And we did. And it worked out, It was one of those things. Yeah.
How much you make weight?
That's where you have to make weight. You can't admit they ain't going to sign you. You know what I mean? No one's ever been, signed for. One guy's been signed, when he missed weight.
Who was it?
Jack something. He's from the UK. He's at 25s. So he missed weight. But it worked out, man. I said, thank God.
Dude, for real, huh? I think that's a trip. And remind me, how many fights did you do in the Contender series before you got?
It was just one.
One?
It's only one. It's
Contender series. Right?
Yeah, Contender series is only one. You get one fight. If you win, you can you get the contract. Fights. They can invite you back, or you can go back in the regional scene and win one, and they can call you short notice. But I won and I got the contract.
When it comes to getting signed by the UFC, do you think it has a lot to do with management?
Yeah, managers are important. People say, "Oh, you don't need a manager in this sport." You do need a manager. You know what I mean? But everybody has their own opinions on that. I feel like I do. I've been with my management company since I was 18. I haven't changed. I haven't left. So I like them. I have to pay them, but they're also working for me too.
Yeah. Obviously, UFC is the premier fight organization of the world. But you get to train with all these other guys, probably in different organizations as well, yeah.
Yeah. It just whoever's around the gym,
You feel like the best fighters in the world are all in the UFC?
No. UFC has really good fighters, but Bellator has good fighters, PFL has good fighters, you can't tell me that some of their champs wouldn't be our champs or some of their top guys wouldn't be our top guys. I just think, you go what's the best decision for yourself. UFC has a name. You can go, you can put a show in the middle of nowhere and you say UFC, probably sell out. You put PFL, Bellator, ONE FC, you can who's there, you know what I mean? But I think Patchy Mix, for example, I've trained with him.
That guy's a dog, bro.
But you can't tell me you can't beat some of the. You can't compete with those guys,
Yeah, Patchy Mixie, he's a dog. He just choked out Sergio Perez.
Yeah, but even like Sergio, like I said, he was in the UFC. He was with the top of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, just people think like the UFC is some of the best. Sometimes I've seen some of the best guys in the world not get a shot anywhere. I mean, just timing. You know, timing plays a lot with it.
Yeah, one of our buddies, his name's Micah, but his dad trained with Glover kind of when Glover was trying to get his visa to come over to Brazil.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say names or anything, but he would be like, some of these guys in the room, he was pacing up, and like these guys were already in the UFC, either had the belt or former champ, current champ, whatever. And he would always tell me, he's like, best fighters are not in the UFC. He's like, don't get me wrong, there's really good fighters in the UFC, but there's really good fighters everywhere.
Yeah, like you got to think about Rizin. There's fighters out there. Like there's, like I said, UFC is I think the best promotion, like the most global name. UFC anywhere in the world, everybody knows what that is. You know what I mean?
It's a business too.
Yeah, but even then, it's just like I said, those three UFC, those three letters, freaking hold so much power to it.
Do. How's your relationship with the boss man? You have a relationship with the boss man? Dana White?
He doesn't really do much. He's a promoter.
Yeah.
I mean, people think you deal with him on a day-to-day. He's not a matchmaker. He's a promoter. I got a good relationship with Mick and Sean. Those are the matchmakers.
Yeah.
Those are guys that like put the fights together. Dana White does. Like, he doesn't do anything on the fight side. Like, he doesn't put fights together. Like, he's a promoter. He's can like suggest.
The promoter.
He promotes a business. He's a promoter. That's what he is. President, you know what I mean? He figures out where he's going, promote, things like that. Obviously, he does do things on the other side. But towards the fighters, he's not really. Like, it's matchmaking. He can be like, hey, like, so-and-so, this guy and this guy are going to fight. I want to promote this fight because this is why. You know what I mean? And, yeah. But matchmakers are the guys that make the fights. Matchmakers are the ones that do it. Dana White does all behind the scene. He's a promoter. Does all behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah. How far in advance do you know, like when you're getting a fight before it's announced? Is it like and it's dropped the next day kind of thing? Or?
Hit or miss. Hit or miss. Sometimes they announce it, sometimes they don't.
They ever announce a fight before you accept it?
Yeah, they did one time. One time they did, but like it was just it was when they were gonna cut the 25s. They're trying to figure it out. So they're trying to get me to go like 35, which was fine. I was gonna go 35s, but we didn't say yeah. Like just still a lot of negotiation doing, but that's the only time. But I mean nothing like where like they're forcing me to take a fight. So they really want me to take the fight, so they're announcing the fight. You know what I mean? It's more like okay, like this, this is this. It's kind of leaked out, and they're like, oh, it's like I can't remember the name. Yeah.
Have you ever thought about going up in weight? Do you feel like you need to go up in weight? You make 25 pretty easy?
I mean, it's never easy, Even at 35, it's not like crazy cutting weight. The older you get, it's a little bit harder and harder. But I mean, I feel like I can compete with those guys. I train with some of them, like Cheeto Vera. I train with Ricky Simone. Train with Cody. I train with these guys at 35s, and I hold my own. I'm not saying I get the better of them or they get the better of me, but I mean we scrap, So I feel like I could go up to 35 if I wanted to.
That's crazy. You train with some big names.
Yeah.
And those guys all fight out of Orange County?
No, so Cody's out here. Cheeto's out in Orange County. Ricky's out like Orange County and Portland. So a lot of those guys kind of just cross paths and train together. Small world, small community,
Yeah. I see Cody on your story all the time. Because he's in fight camp right now. You're going to be cornering him this weekend?
Yeah, I'm cornering him this weekend. So should be fun, man. Good fight for him. I feel like, I mean, Brian's a tough guy, you know what I mean? But I feel like Cody's prepared the best. He's looked and felt in a long time. Like
really?
I've from what I've seen,
That's exciting.
I haven't been in a lot of his camps, but just seeing him training from last camp to this camp, the way I see it's a little bit different,
Yeah. Really quick, one thing I wanted to do. Part of my podcast is we always do like a top 5 segment.
Yeah.
So we do a top 5 like best chins, top 5 most power, top 5 best of each division, whatever it is. Off the top of your head, in UFC history, I want you to give me your top 5 wrestlers. You don't have to give me any particular order.
Top 5 party.
Top 5 wrestlers.
Matt Hughes, obviously Kobe.
Colby?
Kobe, yeah, Covington, like that guy's just animal when he wrestles. Sean Shirk, he was an animal. He wrestled.
From Minnesota too.
I'll say like Frankie when he used it.
Edgar?
Yeah, Frankie Edgar and
Alex Perez?
I'll say Marab or Henry too.
Oh man, Marab's a dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, he put a clinic on Peter Yan that last fight.
Yeah. So I'll say those top 6, I guess.
You're gonna be at the fight this week. Obviously, the co-main event is your weight class.
Yeah.
You got Pantoja versus Royval. Who do you got in that fight? How do you have it? And then what do you see next for the flyweight division?
Man, honestly, it's a tough fight because I feel like the first fight, Brandon was winning. He made a mistake.
Mhm.
You know, but Pantoja has really good jiu-jitsu and power. So, like, it's hard to say who wins, obviously, the fights. But and they're both good people. So, I mean, I want Brandon to win just because he's a good dude. I like him a lot. He's a solid guy. Like, I think he has all the skills to beat him. It's just a tough fight. You know, Pantoja is one of those guys. So, man, it's a tough one. It's just going to be 50-50 on that one.
If you had to bet the crib on it.
I
If you had to bet the crib on it.
don't know, man, because they're both it's not like you're going into like an undefeated fighter. You know what I mean? They're both beatable.
Yeah, they're
Both show, like, everybody has games in the holes.
I like Brandon Royval.
You know?
He's a dog.
Yeah, no, he's a good dude. I've trained with him a little bit. You know, Pantoja's a solid dude too. So, I mean, that one's hard. That one, like, because it's not like heavyweights where you can be like, oh, this guy has knockout power, this guy has this. Pantoja has knockout power, but Brandon has a good chin.
Yeah.
He's shown it before, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They both got good jiu-jitsu.
Mexican dude.
They give him inches, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that one's just hard to throw up in the air. And I don't know what's next for the flyweight division. You got Mir fighting Brandon. Yeah, Manal fighting Nicolau. You know, so you got Kai. You got Kai. Kerfran kind of on the sidelines, got injured. So, I mean, there's so many questions. I mean, Manal wins, he might get Kai. Amir wins, he'll get the title shot, I think.
Who's Amir fighting? He's fighting
Brandon.
Moreno, right,
Yeah.
in Mexico.
So if Brandon wins, like, are they gonna put him against Pantoja 4 times?
No, that's.
So then, you know what I mean? So many questions asked. So I'm not really too sure what's
When does
next.
Manel fight next? Do you know?
January 13th.
Okay, so that's coming up quick, huh?
Yeah.
That's coming up super quick. And then when do you fight again?
March 2nd.
You're fighting. Are you fighting on 299?
No, I'm in freaking. I don't know where. I think it's a fight night.
Is it here in Vegas?
No, it's a freaking Saudi Arabia.
Oh, you're going to. Oh yeah. You don't sound too excited about
Saudi
that.
Arabia, dude. I'm not excited about the travel, but
Have you fought there before?
nah, it's the first time usually gone there, but it's just travel, cutting weight and stuff. It's a lot to deal with, so
Damn, that flight's probably long too.
like 19 hours, I think.
Sheesh.
Do you have a prediction for the main event?
Uh-huh.
How do you see that?
I think Kobe. I think Kobe gets it. Like, his gas tank's just unreal, and he's gonna
Unlimited.
shoot. You know what he's gonna do? He's gonna shoot. He's gonna throw some ugly strikes, get the shot in, take you down. You get up, and take you back down. You know, it's a lot of pressure. Leon does hit hard, obviously. You know what I mean? His wrestling defense is good, but
Super good takedown defense.
against a guy that only shoots 1 time, like Kamaru Usman's not gonna shoot 100 times. You know, you can always stop the first, but what the second, third, fourth, fifth. I mean,
That's that wrestler mindset right there.
that's where Kobe Covington comes in. You know?
Yeah, that's that wrestler mindset right there. Just relentless. Yeah, Ant was like, we were talking on the phone earlier, and he's like, tell him I'm lucky he's not there. Tell him he's lucky I'm not there. Yeah, because we would have had to run back a match, and I was like, big dog, he's in shape right now. I think I'll whoop little Ant's ass right now.
Even when he was in shape, he wasn't able to do nothing. You know what I mean? So he said, like I said, he made work. I was like, okay, he'll get in on shots. I'll just talk shit to him, like, bro, some man hips right here. You can't do this. Yeah, like he took me down a handful of times. Like he was good. He was tough. I was a lot bigger than him too. You know, I was wrestling at 33s, but he was tiny. He was cutting weight to make 25s, but he was just fat and partying. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, you gotta give me like one. You gotta give me one college story. You don't gotta embarrass yourself, but you gotta give me one college story.
Oh shit, there's too many. Oh man. Dumb
With
shit.
little Ant.
Oh, Little Ant.
With little Ant.
When Little Ant was around, it wasn't as bad, man. It wasn't as bad like as it was with my first year in college.
He was like, bro, there's one time he let me borrow his ID.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, and I got into the bar and I got into a fight.
Yeah. I let him. Yeah. I was like, here, dude, try it. What's gonna happen? Then take it away. I just get another one, you know.
Yeah.
So man, dude, done a lot of dumb shit.
Did he win or no?
I wasn't there. I wasn't there. Like by that time I was already like fighting and stuff. So I really wasn't a big drinker,
Mm-hmm.
you know. Anthony and them see me when I really didn't drink. My first year in college, I drank like jeez, it was wild.
Yeah.
When I came back the second year,
A little bit more serious. Or...
yeah, I was more serious. I mean, you're 18, you know, like whatever. But then I was already fighting and stuff. I was like, I'm just doing this for a season kind of thing. So I really didn't party with them too much. They went out and stuff. They're 18 years old. Like, fuck, let's go out. You know, they're happy the casinos there. So yeah.
I remember my first year.
Yeah, man, it was wild. But yeah, too many dumb stories.
For sure. We'll leave it at that, bro. Well, that's it for me, bro. That's it for us. We appreciate you, man. We appreciate you showing us the UFC PI, bringing us into your home, and hopping on our podcast, bro. It means a lot to us. And
for sure, anytime, man, anytime.
We appreciate that for sure. We'll see you at the fight tomorrow. We'll see you in the corner.
Yes.
We'll give you a yell, but
thank
you,
guys,
bro. Appreciate you, man. That's episode number 13, guys. Tune in for the next one, Putasos Podcast.